Alright. Rugby. Your attention, it's a gentleman's sport played by hooligans. It's played all around the world by men and women of all ages and of orientation. It's also a sport with a deep history. In 1823, a man by William Ellis is credited for beginning the game of rugby. In a regular football game, he decided to pick the ball up and run with it. From that point on was the invention of rugby. In 1845 was the first standard written game with a set of laws. From that point on, in 1895, there was a division of the game of rugby, and they created two types with different variations. Two types of rugby are league and union. Union is played by 15 men for 80 minutes non-stop. League is played by 15 men for 80 minutes with 10 chances to score before you have to turn the ball over. There's three variations of each type. 15s, which is the standard competition size. 10s, which is a social interaction side or game. And 7, which is the skinny guys that most people could care less about on the team. There are various positions in the game of rugby. 15 men on the field. There's 8 of them are forwards, which are your big meaty guys. There's a scrum half who is neither a forward or what is called a back, and he's pretty much the quarterback. Your backs are your skinny little guys that like to run around and just constantly run and drop the ball every chance they get. There's 3 very important positions in the game of rugby. Scrum half, who's your quarterback. Your fly half, who is supposed to be equivalent of an intelligent running back. And your hooker. The hooker does everything to restart the game and win you the ball in what is called a scrum. There's 5 basic laws to the game of rugby. First is your field size. It needs to be 100 meters by 70 meters. Right? With a tri-zone of 10 meters on each additional side. And there is a various lack of protection gear. The only thing required for a game of rugby: mouth guard, pair of steel cleats, pair of shorts, and a shirt like I have on right now. That's the only thing that is required for rugby. Occasionally, you'll see guys use electrical tape as padding, or if they wear any type of padding, it's like the 80s shoulder pads that women used to wear all the time. There's 5 ways to score. The first and most common way is placing the ball down in the tri-zone. That is scored and worth 5 points. Then you kick for an additional 2 points. But unlike American football, where wide receiver scores in the end zone, you come back and kick from the center, you kick from wherever you scored. So you score 3 inches from the sideline, your kicker has to back it out as far as he can, and the ball is going to be placed 3 inches from the sideline for him to kick through the uprights. There's also a penalty try, which means as you're trying to run in, someone committed a penalty against you, and you're automatically given that try because you would have had the break and been in there. There's penalty points, which is worth 3 points, like a field goal, but you kick from where the penalty is committed. So if it's committed 10 yards in from the sideline, 10 yards you're going to kick the ball. There's also a drop kick, which is in the middle of random play. You can kick the ball and try to score. Almost counts like a field goal, 3 points. But you just randomly decide to kick in the middle of everything. I don't understand why the skinny guys that think they can kick do it, but I understand that. And then Another one is a penalty mark, which same thing, penalty committed just from a mark. One common law that people don't seem to understand is you run forwards and pass backwards to make progression up the field. When you pass the ball, it has to be underhand pass, either lateral or completely backwards to you. And always tackle the other player of the opposite color, not the guys on your team. Other laws that are big and common are scrums, lineouts, rucks, and mauls. A scrum is where 8 people come together in one big mass collision, and the ball is thrown in the center, and the hookers, one from each team, usually wearing number 2, kick the ball to the back to the number 8 man to start the play. A lineout is for when the ball goes out of bounds. You start off by throwing it in a tunnel between 2 lines of men, lifting guys up, trying to catch the ball up in the air in the center. And if you win the ball, you bring the guy down gently to your side. You lose, toss him on the other team. A ruck is one of the deadliest, not say deadliest, one of the most painful positions or events in the game of rugby. You run with the ball, you get tackled, you have to go to the ground. Once you're down the ground, you cannot do anything, you have to give the ball up. Once you give the ball up, your other teammates and the other team decide to wrestle or collide over top of you. 9 out of 10 times when you're on the bottom, you're getting stepped on with metal cleats.
Ow.
But a maul is when the ball is held up in position, and it is basically a big wrestling match between 4 or 5 guys from each team trying to move the ball and rip it away. I don't know if everybody noticed currently, before in the semester I had a thing on my finger. Some guy tried to twist it to get the ball out of my hand. But these are 5 basic laws of rugby. There is a set of laws and a hierarchy of governance of rugby. The governance starts with the International Rugby Board, which is in charge of all international competitions and general lawmaking. From there, it moves down to your country. We have USA Rugby here, and then from there, it moves on to your region. This region is Eastern Pennsylvania. There's Deep South, Potomac, and they're in charge of governing the teams in that area. And then there is also one that I could not believe when I first heard it, but the International Gay Rugby Association. They fall directly under IRB and hold international events for teams of any open orientation. There are 23 standard laws. At my time?
You're in 10 minutes.
So I'm done. Just want me to finish or stop?
I want you to finish.
Alright. There's 23 laws total. It's rich in tradition, social aspect. We drink a lot of beer afterwards and go from there. Right. It's deep in history, and today it's played with many very law changings each year, trying to make this a safer sport, but still played as a good social aspect.